Hello, Hafsa. Thank you so much for coming here to our interview. And I'm preparing for my second book, Navigating Personal Brand for Tech Leaders. And you have an absolutely amazing experience. So you started your journey from being a software engineer, and right now you're a startup founder. And I saw your great experience on LinkedIn posts. You've been running your own events, so that is perfect. Thank you so much for coming.
Course. Thank you for having me. Would love
Yeah.
to know more about it.
Yeah, thank you so much. My first question is about like you started as a software engineer, and a couple of years later, you become a technical project manager. And right now, you are a startup founder. That is typical for a Bay Area, for Silicon Valley, but it's not typical. Each single story is individual, and let's discuss a little bit more. Do you remember that moment that you've been working as a software engineer? And
Mhm.
how you did this transition to be a manager, to be a leader?
Mhm. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I started out with more on the technical side of things. So I used to code all the time. But I started noticing that I would always be the one who would be just giving the presentations, or even when I was a software engineer, I would be the lead. So I noticed my patterns that I'm good at certain things, and I realized that I'm not leveraging as much my those side of things, and I just wanted to tap more into that. And that's how I just transitioned into it. And then when I was applying, and then for the TPM roles too, this is what I really emphasize on it too, with my previous experience, that even I have been very technical, I've been able to talk about the projects, because at the end of the day, even if you have built something very technical, you end up talking with product managers, or even if you're a manager, the person who's not technical. So it's very important that you need to know how to present your ideas. So I really started focusing on that, and that's how I then transition on the TPM side of things.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's talk a little bit more about it. You mentioned that it's very crucial if you wanted to grow to be able to represent your skills, your ideas, and you have to stand up and explain and sell your ideas to other team. And you say that you notice like this is in your personality, but
Mhm.
do you remember like you just start to feel brave enough? Or
Mhm.
that was ambitious to earn more money? What
Mhm.
was your motivation?
Yeah, I think I would like to share one certain moment that was aha moment for me. That I had some we were working in a project in our group, but I was not able to put a lot of effort and hours into it due to some personal reasons. But at the end of it, I was the one who was presenting it. And then it's, of course, you mentioned your team and everything too, but then it's like you just get away with, even if not doing all the work that you were supposed to do, is just so important, because then they even associate the project with the face who is presenting it. And then I realized that how important it is that the presenting part of things. Um, so that's what really when my journey started, and I just started tapping more into it and learning more about it too. And then of course, like I said, that it just really helps to present you in a better way. And then like you said, that okay, you start maybe earning more too. You start with, it's just one project you're working on as a software engineer, but as a technical project manager, you can have multiple projects, right?
Mhm.
So your exposure is way more too. You end up learning way more as well. So it really depends for me. Definitely, it was the learning part of the things, to have exposure to multiple projects rather than just 9 to 5, sit on my desk and code. Um, and yeah, that's how it started for me.
Okay, that's absolutely amazing. So, to be a software engineer, it required, and I know it maybe sounds like most stereotypical, but this is the truth. So when you work as a software engineer, you just focusing on your part of your job, and when you become a team lead or maybe technical manager, so you have to develop different skills like soft skills, communication skills, effective communication, negotiation, understanding, listening, collaborating. And do you remember, maybe you have some stories when you faced with the difficult situation and you had to figure out on fly what you have to do next, and maybe what kind of soft skills you had to develop?
Yeah. Um, I would start. I think there are two part to things. First, I have a comment about even I feel like as a software engineer. So even when I was a software engineer and I have worked with so many software engineers too, you still need soft skills for that too because you're still working in a team. So even if I'm a backend engineer, I still have to coordinate with the front end engineers, right? And then you have Scrum, so you have to deal with people like me as TPMs and product managers. So it's still, even when you have certain tasks that you're only responsible for yourself, but still it's a team effort, right? Because at the end of the day, you are gonna, well, even when, like, for example, if you're pushing your code, then you have to coordinate maybe with the front end person that, or maybe we do it at the right time, and then you have to deploy it. So there is coordination involved, even when you are a software engineer. Um, so of course it's even more when you are leading a project, because then you have to communicate with all those people that you are working with. But I would say start, even if people who are software engineers are looking, even to start with, even when you're an engineer, just start building that skills while you're being super technical and coding all the time too, right? And then eventually when you're pave your paths towards the lead or TPM, that's how it will happen once you will be start doing it while you are in the software engineer role.
Okay, that's very interesting. So, like, what is your top three favorite soft skills? So, like, you would recommend to any people who want to build career in as a technical leads.
Yeah, I feel like um people tend the first one I would say to listen, to know how to listen, because I would say that why it's very important, because eventually I know it's very important that, oh, how you're presenting your ideas and how you're communicating with people, but all that key data will come in when you are listening, and that could include that listening to the people who are maybe telling about their problems or issue, what they're working as, or even if that could include doing first your research on your end too, because that's really the key, is that eventually grow up on, okay, then once you really know that what's going on and what's working, and then you can come up with a plan that, okay, that's how I'm going to present it. Because for me, it was very interesting working as TPM. There was, I know there are books out there, but there is no one rule that can apply for everyone, because everyone is different. So I took it as a challenge that, okay, I'll be interested into working with different people and different perspective. But I feel like you can definitely apply some certain basic rules. Just be like listen to that, and then whatever, even for this interview I try to like prepare a little bit before you have to present. So I feel like, yeah, just doing your research and then presenting it the right way then really helps.
Okay, thank you so much. So listening and research is super crucial. So you have to be prepared. And you mentioned that take a challenge.
Mhm.
This is crucial. Some people very scary because like if you wanted to grow your scope, you have to take challenge. You have to go out of comfort zone. But out of comfort zone, it's uncomfortable. So and you will be able to do a lot of mistakes in your zone, uncomfortable zone. So what is your secret to working with the mistakes?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I think that's, for me personally, this is the rule that I live by, and to just be uncomfortable all the time. And I feel like that's really the key has been for the growth. And I feel like I wouldn't have been able to grow so fast if I was always just being into comfortable situations. So even right, even when I was doing my master's, I did in 1.5 years instead of two, and right after software engineering, then technique, and now I'm running my own startup too. You know how crazy it can be also, but you have to constantly learn and grow. So I feel like the key is, as long as you feel you feel like in a situation that you're getting comfortable, that's a problem. And yeah, the key is just to make yourself uncomfortable, get out of that position, and you know when you do a mistake, I know it's not a very pleasant feeling, but if you take it in a positive way, that's how you will learn. If you're not making mistakes, it means you're not doing the right things and you're not trying things and you're being very cautious. So yeah, I think I live by this rule, and I recommend everyone to do the same too, because I feel like this is literally just the key of your success and growth, to put yourself into position in situations that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, it looks like you are super good and putting yourself in the uncomfortable position. So you start as a software engineer, you become a technical project manager, and right now you are a startup founder. So like I saw you on different events in the Bay Area, in San Francisco, and you are doing so well. You're working so hard on your personal brand that I really appreciate that, and it's my respect about what you did. Great job. And like it's to be engineer, it's one set of skills. To
Mhm.
be a manager, different set of skills. To be a startup founder, absolutely different sort of type of skills. Um, can you explain how do you use your hard skills and how do you change your soft skills in these three uh, different periods in your life?
Mhm. Good questions. I feel like if we talk about just starting out with hard skills, I know that for software engineering you needed you gotta have some certain technical skill. You need to know how to code. And then we were talking about for technical, if you're a lead, then you gotta have some soft skills. And then as a startup founder, you gotta have everything. So you have, right? Yeah, but I feel like really the key is I know that I can't emphasize enough on it, that even if then you don't know certain things, if you have that uh curiosity that you need to learn constantly, then you can easily teach yourself anything that is required for a certain role. That if you talk about specifically this, then of course that it comes with all those the technical skills that are common in all of those, and then the soft skills that are common in all of those. And I feel like on top of all of this is just having grit, um because I feel like that's what really important is, because the transitions are always hard. Like for me, like transitioning from TPM from startup founder, for startup founder, then transit. Okay, at first I was coding my product, but now I'm selling it. So there's so many transitions, and it's always not very comfortable. But just and there are all obviously there's a lot of ups and downs too. So just having a purpose, having a grid that okay, it's gonna be hard, and how I'm gonna maximize my skills is what really helps, that can help you stand out from the other people who are in the same pool.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's talk about more about your startup. I know you like it's tech, health, something in the middle, sport, fitness, and it's very. I think it is gonna be very popular because right now people take care about their health condition more and more. And do you remember that moment when you been working as a TPM and you decided to launch your own startup?
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like I always knew that I was gonna eventually work on my startup. So I think that's what when I started working as TPM, one of the reason was that because when you're a startup founder, it's kind of like a TPM, because you're managing products, you're managing people. And I just told myself that I am I am learning, and I'm preparing myself to then having my own startup one day, startup founder. So even during my TPM phase, I would just go up to I go up to my CTO, and I would just go up and ask him questions. The learning was constant during that time too. And on this, I started out already on my when I was brainstorming ideas, and I started it on the side. And when I realized, oh, okay, I can move full time on my startup. So then I transitioned from TPM to full time on my startup. So I would say that it's definitely helps when you have a plan And for that time period, like for example, I knew that always that, oh, I want to be a startup, I want to build something. So, but I for a certain time period, I was not. I was being a TPM, but I knew that all those skills that I'm gaining from a technical project manager will eventually help me as a startup founder, and it did. So it's okay if you're not there at a certain point where you want be. Even in the process, if you're learning, then that's great.
That's perfect. So it was you just knew it all the time that you wanted to launch your own something, and you consider to be TPM as a great gym for training your ownership skills.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Those helped. Mhm.
So it's just your feeling, and you just knew, and you just know, and like you can change it. You just feel that I have to start something my new, and for some people, it's not easy to leave their job when it's stable, paychecks and stuff like that, and to take a risk and go to this journey because, like, of course, you will have more freedom, but sometimes this freedom can scare you because you can do this, and you start frustrating. So, how did you came through this process?
Yeah. It's definitely scary because, when you have a job, you're getting, that next month you're gonna get that cushy salary. You don't have to worry about it as a startup founder, you don't know what's gonna happen next month. So definitely there's a lot of unknowns and it's scary. But again, I would say that I would pick the start of life over anything because even while I was working, it's really depends. And for some people, if they're okay with it, with that life, it's fine. Some people don't want to take that risk, and it's okay. But if you wake up in the morning and you're not happy and you're not satisfied, you're not fulfilled by what you're doing, then you have to take action, and there's no question about it. But and and I feel like even the first step is always a scary one, but once you are in it, um it's I don't want to say it gets easier. It definitely doesn't get easier, but I feel like once you're in it, then the more avenues open for you, and then more resources, and then you're more focused on your next journey, rather than being in a space where you're not enjoying it, and you don't feel like you're as productive. So I feel like, yeah, it's just a matter of asking yourself if you're okay with that life, then okay, fine. If not, you have to take step because it's just get worse and worse. Now I feel like now is the time to think about it, that what should be your next step, and then build towards it. And it's very, even when it's hard, it's very rewarding too. Whatever, like for my company Edget, it started with paper, like so many other companies, just writing it down, and now we have millions of reps done on our app, and that it's very rewarding, just even if you think about it. So yeah, I don't know if there's a secret sauce of not being doing it scared, but I feel like just knowing that I know it's scary and uncomfortable, but I'm still gonna do it. And I feel like just that thought really helps.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. And it's super crucial to ask yourself, am I happy? If you're asking that, no, I'm not happy, you shouldn't like, oh, I have to stay at this job because of money or stuff like that. And now is the time. Yeah. So you have to make decisions now. You have to be brave enough, and you have to allow yourself to try something new. Because for some software engineers, they like, oh, I've never had my own company.
Mhm.
I've been working for someone else all the time, and they scary, and be scary. It's normal. It's a part of our life. There is no guarantees. What we
Mhm.
see on the job market last 2 years, like we see that there is no guarantees at all. Even in the very stable, fun companies, you don't protect it from layoffs and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a very interesting. So let's talk about your personal brand. I see that you are super active. You attend in different events. You are a speaker, and you are super open-minded for sharing your knowledge for such interview like this. And could you share, please, the role of personal brand in your life?
Mhm. Absolutely. I think it's super, super important. I can't emphasize enough on this. And especially if we talk about, because I'm in San Francisco, we're in Bay Area. I feel like when you come here, mostly startups come here to build their startups, and it sometimes it's super expensive just to be here and everything. But why still it's a great place to build startup because of the startup ecosystem. And then how can you leverage that ecosystem? You can't leverage that ecosystem by just staying at home. You might as well be at a cheaper state and do that. But if you're in San Francisco, to get the value out of it, you have to put yourself out there. You have to meet people. You have to connect with people, because that's what makes everything magical here in especially in if you talk about Bay Area. You will see people working on their startup, or some people who have already like are serial entrepreneur. They have 5 6 startups of experience, and everyone is just hungry and they're trying out there to build something. You might find your co-founder, you might find your next business partner there. I know you did mention about my event last week. You see 300 people were there, like 300 people who are interested in sports and tech, fitness tech, getting together. And imagine all those people have same interests. Like while connecting, you don't know who you will get connected to and how useful it will be for you. So I think I can't emphasize enough on building your personal brand and importance of community. And of course, like when I go to events, like if I'm speaking there are like 200 people, then 200 people get to know about your story. Because even you end up, it's all about working with people and together, even if whichever tech you're building. um for example, even if in my startup, we're using, it's all about tech. Like we're using computer vision to detect workout prompts, but what we sell as the community aspect of it, and that's how we really retain our users as well. um so I think it applies everywhere. Yeah, I think yeah, I don't know if it's still a little underrated, but I would say building your personal brand is super important, and I think people should start it sooner rather than later. um and it helps you in whatever thing you are doing in your career. It could be your startup or your job. That's how you really find opportunities and grow more.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. It's a super crucial, and I would say that it's unusual when people from the tech background become very active as like you, because all opportunities come through other people.
Yep. Hmm.
Usually it's like, hey, hi, how are you? We have a job position, or I found one interesting person, because like we do all products and services with other people. No people, no products, no services. So that's the reason why it's important. And it doesn't matter how many people you know. What is matter, how many people know you and what do they
Yes.
know about you? Do they know your story or no? So that's why to be a speaker, it's a super rewardable, because like you just tell your story in 5 or 10 minutes, and so many people start to knowing you, and they know how to connect with you. They connect through the LinkedIn and stuff like that. And it's very interesting. And do you have a like your special personal brand strategy, or you just open-minded? You try to attend as much events as it possible. What is your like idea how to build your strategy, or how to build your personal brand?
Um, I feel like definitely the time is limited, because of course, like me, I'm running my own startup too. So I definitely pick the events that I want to go to, or the kind of events that I want to host. In general, I feel like it's just easier when you're just be yourself while communicating with people. That definitely helps, because I feel like if you can assist like like their story and what you tend to do that for products that you try. When you're selling a product, you associate a story with it, and then it's just easier to sell a product too. I feel like it seems with as a person too. um just having your story, and I feel like people resonate with it, and just make it very genuine and just be yourself. And then also then pick what you resonate with more. For example, for me, I am I talk a lot about diversity and women in tech because I feel like I have always been onto these professions that are very male dominating, you know, in tech and now in startup. And I'm also an athlete. I do martial arts, very male dominating too. So I knew that I want to talk more about it. So that's why I run this community too, women founders bay, because I I started with very broad, but then I picked that what are the things that I really want to focus on. So like focusing more on the diversity, and then also because I'm super passionate with sports tech and fitness tech, so I tend to build community around that too and host events around that too. So yeah, I feel like if I have to summarize, I think to start with, it's okay to maybe be very broad. It will take more time, but then eventually it then helps you to just narrow down what are the some of the main certain things that you resonate with more, and then you can make those aspects your focus group.
This is absolutely amazing because, like, it sounds like you summarized what are you curious the most, and
Mhm.
you like collected the core of buzzwords of your interests, and you figure out who you are first. You figure out your story, and just be yourself.
Right,
You shouldn't fake until you make it. You just have to be yourself because
right,
if you fake, you will meet the wrong people who and you can lose your time by talking with these people because they start to talk to you because they think that you are a different person. So it's
right,
just save your time when you don't pretend, but you can represent yourself with your interesting story. So guys, collect please your core of keywords and what you're curious about, and try to take a look like you are not you anymore, but who is this person? How I would like to describe Hafsa. Like who is she? And like my last question. So Hafsa right now in 2024 and Hafsa in 2019, 5 years ago. Do you remember this girl? What would you recommend yourself 5 years ago? Like, and maybe you did some mistakes. Maybe you wasn't brave enough. What
Mhm.
was the main recommendation to yourself 5 years ago?
um I think one thing that come into head, I think I would tell myself to slow down. um I think I should still say that to me right now too, because I'm like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And when some things are not working, I would get impatient. But I feel like now, 5 years after, I realize then everything happens for a reason and everything falls into place as long as you keep on trying. Because I feel like one thing was constant, that I just didn't give up, that even when things were not working. Um, I was a little impatient, and I that's what I would have told myself, okay, because now I see that things working out. I couldn't see that at that time, but I feel like it's a good lesson, and now I try to teach myself that too, to even if at the current moment you don't see the outcomes, the key is you just gotta keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, and eventually then when the time is right, everything will fall into place. So yeah, I
You
think.
so much. Such a great slow down because
Yeah.
I think in the Bay Area and in San Francisco, like fif like 80% of people they have FOMO, fear of missing out. Because
Yeah.
so like as you mentioned that there is a startup ecosystem.
Mhm.
Everything's for you. You can just it's like all inclusive for
Right,
start
right,
AI in marketing, 20 events, AI in health, and like if you have even a very narrow or a very specific direction, you will find like-minded people, and
right,
it's very interesting. And about to keep trying when you do not see outcomes, it's a super crucial, especially right now, because when you try and you try it 100 times and you almost close to give up, but
right.
you have to be keep going, resilient, stubborn in the good sense, and it's
Yeah,
you will see the results. Sometimes it's super close.
yeah, absolutely. You got it. Yes, that's the key.
Yeah, thank you so much for the conversation. I like your personality and I like your energy, and I'm very sure that you will achieve as great results as you want, and you will get all fundraise money, and you will get a huge traction. And I wish you to find the good investors. And
Thank you. I really appreciate your kind words. It was so nice talking to you too.
thank you so much. And see you later. Thank
Okay,
you.
take care. Take care.